Hey everyone, welcome to Zelda Month. I know it's been a while since I've done a video, but between my new full-time job and Twitch, it's hard to find time for videos. Now that it's Zelda Month, there's no way I was gonna miss a month dedicated to my favorite series of all time. Over on Twitch, I'm gonna be starting the Zelda timeline, something that I've had planned for a very long time, and what better way to kick it off than by ranking my favorite Zelda games. Now granted, I'm ranking these based off my memory and only including games that I've played to completion and are only a part of the official timeline, so games like Hyrule Warriors won't be included. And believe me, that pains me, because I love me some Lana. We'll be reviewing the games as we go through the timeline and updating our rankings. Who knows, maybe I'll have a different view on a game that I didn't like now that I'm older, wiser, and not a cynical teenager. But until then, here's my rankings of every Zelda game that I've played. As a note, these games aren't bad, not by any means, just listing them from my least favorite to favorite. Number 10, Triforce Heroes. Well, this shouldn't really come as a surprise. A fun multiplayer game to play with two other friends, and that's about it. The dungeons were sort of interesting, but the frustrating communication was really tiresome at times. Combined with the different skill levels of many people online, and you're going to have a bad time. It almost felt like Nintendo pushed this out in order to tie people over until Breath of the Wild. In the end, it was a cool experience, but not a true Zelda experience that everyone was waiting for. Number 9, Skyward Sword. I had such high expectations for this game upon release. The art style was great, I loved the music, the story was awesome, having some great little twists throughout, and brought some of the coolest items and dungeons with it. Unfortunately, that's where the positives end. The Loftwing travels were really tedious and long, sky portions were completely empty, combined with the less than perfect motion controls, which granted were ambitious, however, they weren't really given the level of control one would hope for. Add in the fact that dowsing made adventuring virtually non-existent, made this one of my least favorite Zelda games. Number 8, the Minish Cap. Oh geez, here come the torches and pitchforks. Now before you guys kill me, at least let me explain myself. I only played this game about a year and a half ago, so my nostalgic feelings for this game are non-existent. While it had a good story, a great partner in Eslo, some inventive mechanics, and a whole bunch of other redeeming qualities, all of this was spoiled for me by the Kinstones. So many goddamn Kinstones! I really don't know why this bothered me so much, but there were just so many of them and it felt so unnecessary for me. Sorry for all of you that loved it, it just didn't do it for me on the first playthrough. Who knows, maybe it'll increase on the next one, but this one just didn't do it for me, unfortunately. Number 7, The Wind Waker. I was a big supporter of this game when it came out on the GameCube. People who called it kiddie, I told them the graphics didn't matter, and it was just like a normal Zelda game, but with better weapons and items. Yeah, I was a huge mark for the Deku Leaf and the grappling hook. Thought those were the coolest things ever at the time. As much as I enjoyed the adventuring around, once again the overworld felt empty to me. I get they wanted to explore everything, but without the quick warp, at the beginning traveling drove me insane. So tedious, so long, and it almost tainted the game for me growing up. Throw in the Triforce, fishing, and my attention span just couldn't do it. Luckily there was an amazing story that totally redeemed itself, and I can't really put this at the bottom of the list because of that. Number 6, A Link to the Past. The first Zelda game I ever played. Probably should be higher on the list, but as a child, I didn't care about the story of the game. My friend would play the game at his grandparents' place, and I would watch him progress through the dungeons as I thought it was so cool. So when I got this as a present for Christmas, I just tried to rip through the game as fast as I could. The dungeons are great, the puzzles were fun, and looking back, the story was well done too. As a kid, it didn't register with me that's what was going on, and already knowing a lot of it from my friends kinda tarnished the run a bit for me. But this will still always hold a special place in my heart, as it was the first Zelda game I ever owned. Number 5, A Link Between Worlds. A real shame these two games are back to back, but that's where we are. Nintendo tried to give this game the same feel as A Link to the Past, with updated mechanics while still maintaining its open world feel. While the story was top-notch, the thing about this game that bugged me is the one thing I love about Zelda games, the open world aspect. Now hear me out, I love the open world of A Link to the Past. You could do any dungeon you wanted at any time, however, you received the items as you went, feeling like you really earned them. In A Link Between Worlds, you buy them from Ravio. Nothing else, just buy them when you get enough rupees, which could be easily earned by walking outside and cutting down the grass, smashing pots for 2 hours. Look, I know I'm nitpicking, but all these games are amazing, and I have to figure out one way to rate them higher than the others. Number 4, Oracle of Ages. This was my summer when I was 13 years old. I printed the entire walkthrough off GameFAQs and beat the game multiple times throughout the summer, unlocking more of the ending each time I did. The complex puzzles combined with your animal friends made this game one of my favorite childhood experiences ever. One of the problems was it was very easy to get lost in the game, and more than once I found myself having to restart the game or spending hours trying to get back on track. As you may tell, I hate wasting time, and while I did enjoy the game, nothing is more frustrating than having all your hard work be for naught. And I still truly believe that the Oracle series are two of the most underrated games in the Zelda franchise. Number 3, Twilight Princess. The more lifelike Zelda that everyone was clamoring for after The Wind Waker was announced and released. The game finally came out and it blew away everyone's expectations. With an expansive map, huge side quests, the ability to turn into a wolf, and that collectathon feeling without feeling too tedious was almost the perfect Zelda game. The one big complaint about this game though, and I think you all know where I'm going to go with this, is the Tears of Light segments. Man, those things could drive anyone up the wall. Now, as bad as those segments were, and they were able to make them better in the HD version, the refinement of everything else in the Zelda series, combined with the beautiful story, makes this one of my favorite Zelda titles of all time. Number 2, Majora's Mask. Not gonna lie, it was so hard not putting this number 1. The beautifully dark story, enhanced graphics, the gameplay, and best part, the masks. Oh, I love those masks more than anything. It was so fun to run around as all the different races in the Zelda universe, but growing up, I hated losing everything going back in time 3 days, mostly because that moon terrified me, and don't even get me started on the Dekus at the beginning of the game. Those things were in my nightmares for months. The one real fault I had that tainted the game for me was the final battle. I got all the masks, completed all the challenges, and got the Fierce Deities mask, which basically lets you kill the boss in a matter of seconds with no real challenge whatsoever. The final boss needs to be an epic encounter, one that makes you feel like you really accomplished something while getting that oh-so rewarding final scene. My reaction after using that mask was, that's it? Well, that wasn't very hard. And you should never have that feeling after a final boss. If I ever did do the boss's Sans mask, I bet this game probably could have taken the number 1 slot, but it didn't, and I bet it's no surprise which one takes number 1. Number 1, Ocarina of Time. Any surprises? No? Well, alright then. Growing up, this was the definition of a perfect game, and many people still use it as the standard bearer for adventure games to this day. The first time I was really exposed to what a 3D adventure game was capable of was through this game. This gave the opportunity for all new puzzles and required you to think about how to solve these puzzles completely differently, often stumping me for a big portion of time. Got bored of the main quest? Go around and complete side quests and potentially unlock the big Goron sword, which my friends thought I was lying about as a child until I proved them all wrong. Combine this with a great story, the new items, the epic boss battles, the twists that no one see coming, and it's hard to argue that this game isn't the perfect Zelda game. At least, for now. And what did you guys think of my list? Those are all the Zelda games that I've ever played. I know it's just a little convenient that it worked out to the top 10, but it's true. We're gonna try playing through all the games on my Twitch. Granted, we might not do 4 Swords because it's basically impossible for me to get a hold of and play on stream. Maybe I'll be able to find an emulation and we can do that at some point. But that's all the time we got for today's episode. Don't forget to leave a comment down below and let me know what your guys' top 10 Zelda games or what your guys' favorite games are in the Zelda franchise. Anyways, for everyone here at 24KevinTendo, I'm your host, 24Kevin. I gotta go though. I gotta go start the Zelda timeline on Twitch. Happy Zelda Month! Bye!